Hello and welcome to Math Online Academy. Today we want to learn the division law in indices. In our last lesson we talked about multiplication law in indices. And we said that if we want to multiply two indices, that we multiply the bases and the powers, we add them together. That is, if we have a times a times b raised to power n times c times b raised to power m. In multiplication of indices, we multiply the bases. These ones, we multiply them together. And then for this one, the index form, the powers, we add them together. Now we can only add together if what we have here is what we have here. That is b. If what we have here is not the same thing with this, we cannot add their power together. So because what we have here is the same thing as what we have here, then we can say that this is equal to AC times B raised to power n plus m. So these things can be number, all of them can be different numbers. Normally, most index numbers or indices are expressed in the base of 10 or index of 10, so 10 raised to power something. But sometimes it is not always 10. We can have something like to multiply, you can have 5 times 2 raised to power 3 times 2 times 2 raised to power 4. Now this is not 10, this is 2. So we can add the power together since the base, what we have here, the base here is the same thing as this base. This is the coefficient, this is the coefficient, this is the base. Now, since we have the same base, we can multiply their powers together. So we now have 5 times 2, which is 10. Then times by, we take one of the bases, which is 2. Then 2 raised to power 3 plus 4, which will give us 10 times 2 raised to power 7. Now, if we have 3 here, the bases are no longer the same. So we treat it separately. We cannot add the powers together when the bases are different. Alright, so let's go to division. Now for division, if we have different indices that we want to divide, we divide the bases and then subtract the powers. The power of the numerator minus power of the denominator. I hope you know what numerator and denominator mean. if we have A over B, the one on top is called numerator, and the one below is called denominator. And so if we have different indices, assuming that this one is one in this index, and this one is another index, if we are dividing two of them, the power of the one on top minus the power of the, we first of all divide the bases and then take one of the, we divide the coefficients, take one of the bases if they are the same, and then subtract the power of the one on top, subtract the one on below, that is the denominator, from the one on top. Now for instance, if we have if we have 8 times 10, 8 times 10 raised to power 5 divided by 2 times 10 raised to power 4. Now this is the denominator, the numerator. This is the numerator and this is the denominator. Now this is equal to, we divide this one, that is 8 over 2, that will give us 4. We write 4 times, the bases are the same, we have the same thing here, and the power here is 5 and the power here is 4. The one on top minus the one below, then 5 minus 5 minus 4, which is equal to 4 times 10 raised to power 1, which is equal to 4 times 10, which is equal to 40. If you want to leave it in index form, you leave it as 4 times 10. If you want to simplify it further, you can go to 40 if it is required. Most of the times, you'll be needed to leave your answer in index form. You check your question very well and you see what is expected of you to do. Example 2. Now, if we have and we are asked to simplify this, what you are going to do is that we say we divide this by this, which is 2 divided by 2, that will give us 1. So 1 times, we take one of the bases, 4, raised to power n minus 3. Now, which is equal to 1 times 4 is 1. So the answer is 4 raised to power n minus 3. Now, if we are given a question like How and we are asked to find the value of x. How can we do that? Find x. Now to solve this, our major goal is to make sure that we have the same base for all of them. We have the same base here and we have the same base here. Once we have the same base on both sides, then we can equate their powers. Now, this one here, we divide the coefficients here. 8/4 is 2. So we have 2 raised to power 10 let me say that this one is 8. Let me say that we have 8 here. Okay, 8/8 is 1. Now x minus 4 is equal to 100 is 10 raised to power 2. Now we now have the same base here and here, 10 raised to power x minus 4 and 10 raised to power 2. So we now equate the bases. We equate the powers. So x minus 4 is equal to 2. Why are we equating? Because we have the same base here. 1 times 10 is 10, so we cancel the bases. If you cancel the bases, then the powers will become equal. X minus 4 is equal to 2. So with this, x is equal to, take it to the other side, 2 plus 4. So x is equal to 6. X is equal to 6. So this is how to do division in indices. I say that if we want to divide different numbers in indices, we divide the coefficients and take the bases, one of the bases if they are the same, and minus the power of the denominator from the power of the numerator. That is, subtract the one below from the one on top.